Hi, welcome to Yoga at the Library. We're going to do a pretty relaxed class today. We'll be doing a lot with the wall. So as you see, I've got my mat long ways with the short edge against a wall. And we're not going to get wide in this class. So like a door, if you've got a closed door, that's a really nice place to set up your yoga mat, or just a clear space of wall. Because we will be standing up and using the wall. We will be laying down and using the wall, and pretty much everything in between. So let's begin. We'll start in legs up the wall. So we'll be on our backs, booties as close as we can to the wall, and then legs up the wall. And there's really no pretty way to do it, and that's all right. Just rotate your body around and send your legs up the wall. So we're letting the knees bend gently. We're not trying to press the legs into the wall or anything. Just letting the legs be however they naturally are in this extended position, extending up against gravity, resting against the wall. This is a really good pose for fatigue and for if you need an attitude adjustment. Those are both things that are true for me right now. So I thought we should maybe do a legs up the wall centered class, just in case anyone else is having fatigue and attitude problems. Noticing your feet changing color, changing temperature. Noticing your legs, the sensations that you feel. Noticing the parts of your body that are making contact with the floor. Your spine, the back of your rib cage, your shoulder blades, the backs of the arms, the back of the head. Just noticing how that feels to have your whole back supported. Been upright all day, flopping around, and now we are being still and heavy into the floor and supported. I hope it feels good. If the stretch in the backs of your legs is too intense, you can always move your booty away from the wall, or you can stick a blanket or a pillow underneath your low back to kind of elevate the hips and send the feet a couple inches higher. That takes some of the angle out, just the same way that scooting the hips away from the wall takes some of the angle out. Letting the arms rest wherever it's comfortable. We'll breathe here for a minute. Just breathing regularly. Noticing the sensations in your body. Noticing the belly and the chest rising and falling with the breath. Noticing how the back body expands into the floor. And slowing the breath down, deepening those breaths. Noticing when your lungs are all the way full, if you feel a little bit asymmetrical, making any adjustments that you can, see if that helps. Sometimes a shoulder blade could be adjusted, or even an arm, to help both lungs fill equally. Taking a big deep breath in through the nose and letting it out through the mouth. Another one just like that. And out through the mouth. Alrighty, we'll bend the knees and roll over to one side. Just making a little pillow with your head, pillow for your head with your arm. Noticing those strange sensations in the legs now that we're getting back in the direction of normal gravity. No longer going to be upside down for a little while. And we'll carefully make our way up, finding a seated position on your mat that is a little bit away from the wall. We're going to extend the arms back, and I want you to have enough room to extend your arms back without hitting the wall. So we want to have some room, some space from the wall, noticing how this position feels. Sides of the feet pressing into the floor. The sit bones adjusting so both sit bones are rooting evenly down into the floor and extending up through the spine, through the crown of the head, letting the shoulders drop away from the ears. We'll extend the arms out and all the way up. And exhale down to one side, reaching up and over. Inhaling up to center. Then exhaling down to the other side. Just moving with your breath. And if you notice that one sit bone and then the other is coming up off the floor to follow the spine, that is good. Let that happen. Don't try to force both sit bones to stay down. When you feel even, meeting back at center. The arms all the way up. And we'll twist, bringing one hand across to the opposite knee and one hand behind. Inhaling to lift up through the crown of the head, looking over that shoulder. Bringing the twist all the way up through the entire spine, even the neck. Inhaling, both arms come up, and we'll switch sides. Exhaling to twist a little deeper, looking over the shoulder towards the wall behind you. And we'll do both sides one more time, inhaling all the way up, and going back to the first side. On your next inhale, coming all the way up. And to the second side. Coming back to center. We'll bring the hands on down. We can switch the ankles. So the opposite ankles in nice and close. Sitting up nice and tall. Bringing the palms together at the heart. We'll take a deep breath in. Exhaling, interlacing the fingers and pressing the palms forward. Inhaling, palms come up, shoulders stay dropped away from the ears. Exhaling, hands reach back. Interlacing if we can. Inhaling to lift the hands, lift the chin and open the heart. And exhaling, hands come into the center. We'll do 2 more of those. Deep breath in. Exhaling, pressing the palms forward, rounding the spine back. Inhaling, palms up, shoulders down. Exhaling, hands reach back. Inhaling to open the heart, lifting the chin, lifting the hands. And exhaling, hands come into the center. Deep breath in. Exhaling, palms press forward. Inhaling all the way up. Exhaling, hands back. Inhaling, heart opens. And exhaling, hands come to center. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and hold on to both knees, making big circles, rounding the spine back, coming over to the other side, pulling the heart forward, exploring the whole range of motion that you have here. Making your circles as big as you can without falling over. Sit bones, one and then the other can come up. Massaging out those big glute muscles against the floor. Checking out your low back, your hip flexors. Go ahead and switch directions. And we'll make our way back to center. Now we're going to make our way back to the bottom of our mat against the wall. So we're going to be sitting with the back, as much of the back as we can, against the wall. Tailbone, hips, back against the wall. Sitting up nice and tall, just noticing how this feels. Doesn't feel great to me. But we're going to pay attention to the curves of the spine, also your baseboard. Your baseboard is a factor here. So we're feeling the curves of the spine, we're feeling the curve that is kind of because of the baseboard, feeling the texture of the wall maybe, just noticing what you've got going on. It might not be the best, but that's all right. We're going to open up the legs into a V. Adjust those hips so they're all the way back against your wall or your baseboard. We're relaxing through the legs and extending up through the spine. We can stay right here, or we can take the fingertips to the floor and fold forward. And we're not doing anything crazy with the core here. We're just folding forward, relaxing forward. Just like we're in a forward fold and we're letting our upper body hang down, letting our upper body hang away from the wall, even if your body hangs 1 inch away from the wall. Noticing the sensations you feel in the backs of the legs
the spine, the back of the neck, noticing where you feel stretch here. And we're going to stay in this stretch, whatever this stretch looks like for you, whether you're up against the wall, folding forward, or you've got your forehead on the floor. We're going to stay in this stretch for about a minute. Relaxing your body as much as you can, letting your arms be heavy, letting your arms help your upper body fold towards the floor, letting your legs be soft. Just be a part of this passive stretch. So long stretches like this get beyond just stretching the muscles, and they begin to stretch the connective tissue, like braces, fixed teeth, slowly, slowly. That is what this kind of yoga pose does. It's called a yin yoga pose. And we hang out in it for an extended period of time. It stretches the ligaments. It's really, really, really good for joint health, and obviously for mobility and flexibility. Noticing as you sit in this stretch, if it feels a little bit easier, if you feel your body kind of giving in to it, allowing the stretch to happen. If you feel just a little bit softer or a little bit closer to the floor, a little bit farther from the wall, especially on those exhales. Alrighty, we'll make our way on up, leaning back up against the wall. Now we're going to take 2 more of those long, slow stretches. Let's take the left foot to the inside of the right leg. And that right leg can stay out wide to the side, or it can come onto your mat. Whatever feels best to you right now, whatever kind of stretch you're feeling is going to be good for you. And here, this is kind of a your choice kind of a moment. We can fold over. And folding over is relative. You might come 1 inch from the wall, and that's fine. We're going to fold over this long right leg, relaxing through the spine. Or we could fold over this bent left leg, relaxing through the spine. So go ahead and walk your torso around. Before you decide, walk your torso around a couple times and find a stretch that feels nice to you. It might be right in the middle, just like that last stretch was, so you can really get into that right hamstring. It might feel better for your back to fold over the bent leg. Just find your stretch here. Relaxing into it. The legs are soft. The spine is soft. The head is heavy. The arms are heavy, helping your upper body fold towards the floor, fold away from the wall. Just noticing again where you feel the sensations. Making our way back up, straightening that spine up against the wall. And we'll switch legs, carefully extending that left leg, bending the right leg in, bringing that foot to the inside of the left leg, maybe bringing the left leg onto the mat, maybe keeping it out wide to the side, whatever feels good to you. And it doesn't have to be the same on both sides. And before we settle into a stretch, we'll walk the torso over the right leg, and back through center and over the left leg, trying to figure out what stretch is right for you on this side. And settling into your stretch, whether it's folded down the middle, folded over the right leg, or folded over your extended left leg. Making our way back up, bringing the spine up against the wall. Then we'll take both legs straight, bringing them together, and just pressing the spine into the wall. This is the same position we started in, legs up the wall, except for we've rotated. 180 degrees? I think 180 degrees. Alrighty, we're going to make our way away from the wall again, onto hands and knees. Just being careful with yourself, taking your time. Finding hands and knees at a spot on your mat where you can extend your leg and put your foot on the wall like you're standing on the wall. We want that heel to be level with the hip, so not way up behind like I started. We just want to extend that leg and have the foot make solid contact with the wall. So finding that spot, making sure it works with both legs. And then we want to make sure those palms are planted right underneath the shoulders. Knees are right underneath the hips. And we've got a long, neutral spine. Gaze is down at the floor in between the fingers. And we'll extend the right leg long, pressing that foot into the wall. Nice. Keeping the spine nice and long and neutral, keeping the core hugging in close. We'll extend the left arm. It's a little different when you've got the wall supporting you. Big deep breath in, being really strong all the way through this long horizontal line you're creating. And then we'll come on down. Same thing on the other side. Extending the left leg pressing that foot against the wall. Long, strong leg, long, strong spine. And we'll extend the right arm long. Big deep breath in and exhaling on down. We'll do that one more time on each side. That's awesome. That causes your standing arm to get really strong because you're holding that foot against the wall. Gives you some traction. So the right hand stays down, left arm comes up. Big deep breath in, long, strong line. And exhaling, coming on down. Left foot to the wall. Right arm comes long. Big deep breath in. And exhaling on down. Let's go ahead and take the knees wide and the big toes come together. Coming back with the hips. Down into a child's pose. Elbows can be bent to give the arms a break. Forehead can come down towards the floor or onto the fists, onto the backs of the hands. Letting your spine be nice and long here. Gravity stretching the fronts of the feet, the ankles, the knees, the hips. Squeezing through those hip flexors, stretching the backs of the hips. Alrighty, coming back up to our tabletop position. And let's see, we're going to find a spot. Now we're going to use the wall again. You might want to walk the hands back a little bit. We're going to find a spot with the heels against the wall that we can come into downward facing dog with the heels pressing against the wall. So it's a little bit more supported with the wall here. Finding a spot where your feet feel comfortable. Heels pressing into the wall, toes against the floor. We're not getting the big foot stretch we usually get in downward facing dog, and that's all right. Letting the arms be strong. Lifting the hips high into the air. Here we are in this L-shaped position again that we keep finding. This is now our third rotation. I wish I could tell you how many degrees we've rotated now, but I can't. Go ahead and alternate, bending one knee and then the other. We'll take a big deep breath in. And exhale, bringing the hand or the knees down to the floor. Giving the arms a break. Shaking those arms out. Shaking out the wrists, wiggling out the fingers, rolling the shoulders a couple times. Okay, we'll bring the hands back down to the floor. Heels come back to the wall. Lifting the hips up. Now we're going to walk the feet, bending the knees, walking the feet about halfway up the mat. So we're hanging out here in a forward fold, away from the wall. Knees are bent. So we're not trying to straighten the legs. We're just hanging out here in our forward fold. Letting the head hang, letting the arms hang. Checking in with your feet, making sure that they're pointing in the same direction, that they're parallel, making sure you're not leaning more on one foot than the other. And from this vantage point, we have a pretty good view of our knees, noticing where your knees are pointing. And try to point those kneecaps in the same direction your feet are pointing. It sounds kind of silly till you notice whether your knees are actually pointing in the same direction your feet are pointing. We'll take a deeper bend in those knees and roll all the way up to stand. Standing up nice and tall. Letting the shoulders drop away from the ears. Finding our mountain pose. So we've got our feet, we've got our knees, our hips are stacked right over those knees. Torso's long and strong. We can shine the fingers down towards the floor, standing up nice and tall and steady. Chin is level with the floor. The breath is steady. Big deep breath in here. And on the exhale, we'll release. Alrighty. Coming over with the right side towards the wall, we're going to stand, let's see, about 2 feet away from the wall. So the edge of the right foot is about 2 feet from the wall. And then let's take the left leg, crossing it over the right. We'll reach up with the left arm. So the left fingertips might just make it to the wall. And if they do make it to the wall, you get a lot of support. So if you need to scoot closer to the wall for those fingertips to make it, please do. And we don't want to rotate towards the wall. We want to keep the belly button pointing towards the other wall, assuming that you're in a rectangular room, I guess. We do not want to point the belly button towards the wall that our fingertips are touching. Making our way on up. And we'll switch sides. So left side towards the wall. Outer side of the left foot is about 2 feet away. Crossing the right foot over. And reaching up and towards the wall with the right hand. Getting a big full body stretch from the fingertips all the way down to that heel. Stabilizing through the left leg. And through the wall. Alrighty, coming all the way back up and releasing that pose. Let's see, we're going to flow a little bit before we find another static stretch. So let's take the feet about hip width apart, maybe even a little bit wider than hip width apart. We'll bring the hands together at the heart. Taking a big deep breath in, arms come out and up. Exhaling, folding all the way forward. Checking in with those knees, they can be slightly bent. Inhale for a long flat spine. And exhaling to fold all the way down. Inhaling, arms come out and up. Exhaling, hands coming into the heart. We'll do 2 more like that. Inhaling, arms come out and up. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling, long flat spine. Exhaling, folding down. Inhaling, coming out and up. And exhaling, hands coming into the heart. 1 more, deep breath in. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling, long flat spine. Exhaling, folding on down. Inhaling, coming out and up. Exhaling, hands coming into the heart. Alrighty. Now we're going to come into a couple different standing poses using the wall. So what we're going to try to find is warrior one. So we're taking a couple steps back with the right foot till the heel comes to the wall. And you might like the outer side of your foot against the wall. You might just like your heel against the wall and your toes kind of pointed in. Whatever works for you is just fine. And then we're gonna scoot that left foot forward, bend into the left knee till the knee comes over the ankle, and bring the palms together at the heart. This is where it gets kind of crazy because we're gonna try to rotate away from the wall. This is where you might take your toes away from the wall. Rotate away from the wall so that the belly button and the heart are pointing in the same direction as those left toes. Leaving that wall behind. This is a big stretch through this right hip flexor and the back of the right leg. We want to stack the shoulders over the hips here rather than leaning them forward. Trying to keep that torso long and strong and straight up. Nice. Alrighty, we'll extend through the left leg, straightening the leg. And now we're going to rotate to face the opposite way. Not the opposite way. I'm sorry. To face the way that the right toes are pointing. Facing the way that the right toes are pointing. My yoga teachers are rolling over in their graves right now. Both arms extend out. We can bring that right hand to the wall. So this feels totally, totally different. We were facing the front, now we're facing the side. So now we're getting a stretch through this left hip flexor, even though very little has changed. Big deep breath in here. And on the exhale, we're reaching through the left fingertips, reaching, and then tipping down so the fingertips come to the leg, maybe the knee, maybe the thigh, maybe the shin. And that right arm comes up towards the ceiling. The goal is not to reach the left hand all the way down to the floor at all. The goal is to get a nice stretch through the side body. Maybe your balance feels good and you can look up towards the ceiling. Maybe looking down towards the floor helps your balance. Finding your triangle pose. And we'll inhale, coming all the way up. Taking your feet, walking your feet back to a normal position and shaking them out. Gosh. And then, let's see, we're going to try to find those two poses on the other side. So we've got our right foot forward, walking that left heel back to find the wall. Maybe the toes turn away from the wall. Maybe you've got the whole side of the foot against the wall, whatever feels best to you. And we're going to bend into that right knee until the knee comes right over the ankle. Hips, belly button, heart pointing in the same direction as those toes, adjusting your back foot as needed. If that knee starts to feel strange with that rotation, we'll bring the hands together at the heart. Getting a big stretch through the left hip flexor. Making sure that you don't come out of that bend in the right knee. Using the wall for a little bit of extra support here. And stacking the shoulders over the hips. Alrighty, we'll extend through the right leg. We're gonna rotate, 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 rotate. Maybe adjusting your back foot. Maybe adjusting your front foot. Extending the arms out wide to the sides. Big deep breath in here, keeping both legs straight. We'll reach forward, forward, forward through the right hand
And then down towards the leg, reaching up towards the ceiling with the left hand. Feeling a big side stretch. Not crunching through your right side to get closer to the floor, but extending through your left side to get longer. On your next inhale, coming all the way up. And this time, let's see, this next pose, we're gonna get as close to the wall as we can. You might not be able to take your heels all the way to the wall. That might be too hard to balance. I don't know. Challenge yourself to take your heels all the way to the wall. And if you feel like you're gonna fall forward, go ahead and take your heels a little bit away from the wall. We're just taking the forearms and the backs of the hands to the wall. Inhaling, sliding them on up. And exhaling, sliding the elbows down towards the rib cage, trying to keep as much contact with the wall as you can. Sliding up and sliding down on the exhale. One more time, inhaling up and sliding down on the exhale. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take the heels. This time we're gonna kind of lean against the wall. So we're gonna take the heels about 6 inches away from the wall, bringing the feet all the way together. Bringing the feet all the way together. Okay, so we're using the wall. We are not trying to challenge our balance just yet. We're just trying to feel super comfy here against this wall. Standing onto your left foot and lifting up your right foot. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to have us put our feet all the way together. I do this to you guys every time. Let's set up better. Let's set up better and see if it goes better. Let's bring the feet hip width apart. Hip width apart. We're still leaning comfy against the wall. Standing onto the left foot. Nope, this just doesn't feel very good. We're lifting up the right leg and holding underneath the thigh. Adjusting. I'm finding myself adjusting on the wall, scooting over so that my left foot is centered underneath my body. That makes the most sense. So yeah, putting the feet together was a good call. This is just a strange pose. We're holding on behind this thigh to lift this right knee up level with the hip-ish. Holding on with just the right hand to take the knee out to the side. Counterbalancing with this left arm. And we'll switch, holding on with the left hand to take the knee across the body. Coming back to center. Extending the leg as long as we can. Extending the arms up towards the ceiling. And then releasing. Okay. Let's see if we can make this work a little better on the other side. So bringing the feet all the way together. Lifting the left knee up. Yeah, that feels so much better. I'm sorry, guys. Holding on underneath the thigh here. So we're bringing this thigh parallel with the floor or so. Standing up nice and tall, using the wall for balance. Taking the right arm out to the side and the knee over to the left. Switching sides, bringing that knee across for a little twist. Coming back to center. We'll extend the leg, extend the arms, and exhale to release. Okay, taking the feet hip width apart,
Bringing the arms all the way up. And exhale to fold forward. Walking the hands forward, bending the knees, coming all the way down onto your mat, into hands and knees. And then we'll make our way onto our backs. You want to have enough room here that you can extend your legs and not kick the wall. So you might even need to be off your mat with your head. We're extending the legs all the way along without making contact with the wall for just a moment here. Let's go ahead and bend both knees. Pressing into the feet to tuck the tailbone, rolling the spine one vertebrae at a time up off of the mat. And then exhale to roll the spine one vertebrae at a time all the way back down, ending with the tailbone. Moving with your breath, inhaling to roll on up. And exhaling to roll on down. One more with the breath, inhaling, rolling on up. And exhaling, rolling all the way down. We'll extend the left leg long, holding on to that right knee, making a couple circles with the right knee. A big hip stretch is coming up. Spoiler alert. So we're waking up these hips. With the right knee bent, we're just going to send, just like we did against the wall, but hopefully this is a little more comfortable. We're sending this right knee over to the left. Maybe it makes contact with the floor, maybe not. Extending the right arm off to the right, maybe keeping that left hand to the leg for a little bit of extra weight. Feels a little different when you get to relax and not worry about balancing and leaning up against the wall, doesn't it? Maybe extending that right leg long feels good. Maybe keeping it bent feels best. Just noticing what feels good for you and your body today. We'll come back to center. Extending the right leg long and bending that left knee in. Holding onto the knee, drawing circles. And we'll hug that knee nice and close. And keeping it bent for starters, let's take it across the body over to the right side. Left arm reaches out along the floor. Right hand can stay to the knee or the thigh for a little extra weight. We can extend the leg or keep it bent, finding your twist here.
Big deep breath in, and we'll bring the knee back to center. Adjusting yourself on your mat, bottoms of the feet to the floor. Let's go ahead and hug both knees in nice and close. Rounding up with the spine and rocking and rolling. Rocking and rolling, massaging out your spine against the floor. Waking up your core a little bit. We'll get one more. And the goal here is to make our way to the wall again. So we're coming all the way to the wall with the hips. You know what? All the way to the wall might be a little bit ambitious. So we're not going to start all the way to the wall this time. Let's start about with the hips and the booty about 5 inches from the wall. So not all the way to the wall this time. This is this big hip stretch I just was telling you about. And I don't want us to be too squished up against the wall to get into it. So we've got about 6 inches, maybe more like a foot. That's just fine. In between the booty and the wall. We've got the legs up the wall again. Noticing the sensations in the legs, in the feet. Noticing the sensations of having your whole spine and the back of your head pressing against the floor in this way. Pressing against the floor with the weight of the legs also on top, contributing to that heaviness. And we'll find our hip stretch. So for this hip stretch, it's just like the figure 4 stretch that we often do on our backs, but now we have the help of the wall. So let's take the left ankle across the right knee, and then we're bending the right knee. Maybe we can take the bottom of that right foot to the wall. Maybe we can even bend the knee a little bit more, just maybe. So we're finding a hip stretch here, a big, nice hip stretch on that left outer hip, the whole outer left leg. And if this is too much, we can scoot farther away from the wall. If you want more, you can scoot closer to the wall. You can bend the right knee even more, so this foot and ankle end up closer to your face. Once you find a pleasantly intense hip stretch on the left side, stay there. A kind of hip stretch that makes you say, "This is just what I needed."